before we leave, I'd like to look around a little bit and see what I get a feeling about this place based on either an insight or a perception check.
Sure, absolutely. By all means, guys, take any opportunity you want within these walls, because I don't think you're going to be coming back here.
I apologize. Work emailed me, so I'm trying to finish something really important.
No, it's all right. If you guys want to take a 5-minute and think real quick, I'd be more than happy to allow that.
Because I'm wearing gloves, full-on gloves, I go to the building that I demolished, which I still think is really cool. And I lift up just like a little clump of the ash, and I kind of sprinkle it down just to watch what it does.
Okay.
Is it just like normal ash, or is it
It's
like...
very fine. Like, it doesn't clump like normal, like wood ash does after a fire has burned out. It looks like sand without having the grainy consistency of sand. As you pull away, it has completely stained your fingers, the fingers of the gloves.
Are there any bodies that haven't been smashed yet?
You most likely can find some if you want to roll me a perception check.
Okay. How did I do that? Perception?
Sure,
no
yeah,
bonus. I would like to hold the eye in my hand and use it when I do the perception check.
Okay.
So
What,
I get,
so what
bonus.
What are you doing? What's that bonus for, if I may ask? Oh, that perception bonus, right.
Yeah. In the eye.
Duh. I made the damn thing.
Yeah. So it's just, what, 1d20 plus 1?
No, it's a proficiency bonus. So whatever your proficiency is, you add to your perception check.
Yeah, but I don't have a perception. Wait, well, I get a +2 natural proficiency, right?
Correct. So every time it says get a proficiency bonus, you add plus whatever your proficiency is at that moment to it.
Based on the level, yeah, plus
Right.
2. Okay.
So in this case, let me open up your character sheet.
1, 2.
So, perception. Now, in this case, you guys can actually use your character sheet to roll for you. So you have... So what you do, you see that D20 that's next to your perception?
Yeah.
Click it.
Okay.
Ta-da!
So then I just add 3 to that?
No, it rolls it for you. Alright, no, yeah, you would add... I don't think you have 3, I think you have 2. Your
Yeah,
proficiency
well, I would
bonus
be
is 2.
2 from the proficiency bonus and then 1 from the eye. But the eye isn't recorded in there. So it'd be just +1, right?
Where are you getting the +1 from?
From the eye. The eye of the listener?
No, so the eye of the listener gives its wielder a proficiency bonus on insight and perception checks. That's it.
Yeah.
So in your case, you don't have proficiency on your check, so you would just add 2. That's it.
Well, wouldn't I get 2 plus 1? Because isn't +2 from the level itself? Or wait, no, it's only those things that I already skilled into, right? Okay,
Correct.
yeah. So
Correct.
it's just the +1 then.
No, it's +2. Your proficiency bonus is +2. That's flat. So
Yeah.
anything that you have proficiency in, you will automatically roll that extra +2. If it gives you proficiency, you'll roll the +2. If it adds proficiency to it and you have
so it's
proficiency
basically giving me okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
It just gives you proficiency as a bonus to the roll.
Okay.
So in this case, since you don't have it, you just add
It's just-
+2.
Yeah. So
we
15
always
then.
we always use the first one unless you have advantage on the check.
Okay.
So in this case, you would be rolling 15. Did everybody follow that? We're all good on that?
Yep.
Cool.
I think so.
No, I just want to make sure, because there are no stupid questions when it comes to the rules. If one person is asking it, that might mean that somebody else might have a problem with it. So it's good to clear that stuff up. Don't be afraid to ask about rules, guys, okay?
Okay.
So you kind of move down. You're wandering away from the group as a whole, and you kind of come to this area right here. It looks like a small watering area where people might bring some, farm animals around, like small farm animals, like sheep or things like that. Not in large amounts, but maybe enough for like a butcher or if kids are raising it, as well as for people to share the water itself. It looks like not a natural well, but a built well. It's kind of a cul-de-sac. There's smaller, not beggars' homes, but they're really small houses. And then you're right next to basically what would account to a store, a storefront itself. Like I said, it looks eerie. Everything is that off-gray It looks super chalky. Some of the houses themselves have collapsed into the piles of ash that you see around you. And you kind of decide the doorway to the storefront is wide open. So it's not like you have to break anything. It's hard to see through the plague mask.
Well, I have dark vision, so I can probably see decently well if it's dark. Is that it, or
no?
just...
It's the fact that you have lenses in front of your eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can still see. You still got
mask.
dark vision, but it's limited. Like it's like wearing a gas mask.
Yeah.
So you want to walk in?
Before I walk in, I'm going to use Divine Sense as an action.
Okay. How many of those do you have?
It's 1 plus my Charisma modifier between each long rest, so 4.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk in. There is no there's no indication that there's anything wrong.
Okay.
You're not sensing any celestials. You're not sensing any holy ground or unholy ground.
No fiends or undead?
Nope.
Okay. I'll walk in then.
Okay. As you go to take your first step onto the wood, it falls right through.
Okay.
The rest of it is kind of built up onto a mound of earth, though, so you kind of just plow your way through the first couple boards and manage to get onto more solid ground.
Well, I think after that first one collapses, I would test the ground with my longsword.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
You kind of feel that the earth goes up into the building, so you're not falling through with every step.
So I'm confident in my... Yeah, okay.
Yes.
That works.
So once you're in it, the storefront itself looks like, a combination of a small tailor and probably a cobbler. Their own separate areas, but it looks like, whoever it was kind of knew each other, because you see various tools scattered about through the workbenches. Not necessarily that you would be familiar with their specialized tools, but you kind of look at it and go, that's not really something you would use to sew with,
Yeah. That's a hammer. That's not useful for clothes.
Exactly. I mean, you're not trying hard enough if that's the case. So as you walk in, you kind of see 2 or 3 bodies just lying on the floor. There's a female on the sewing side who's kind of collapsed behind one of the mannequins. There is a very brittle looking dress that's kind of just hanging there. The ends of it have fallen off into a small ring of dust around the bottom, but the rest of it has kind of stayed intact. You walk around some more, you find an old dwarf, what looks like what it was supposed to be a dwarf, lying behind the counter of the cobbler's side, and what looks to be with a little bit more searching, you see that there's another body hiding in like a pile of clothing. It looks much, much smaller. Most likely a kid. And they all...
I kind of...
Go ahead.
Frown at the discovery of the kid, but setting that aside, I don't know, maybe gently touch one of the bodies, like maybe the hand, to see what happens when I touch it.
Okay. So there is one thing you notice with your perception check, is that the cracks along the bodies are in different places. They seem to kind of be spreading outward from big cracks. So on the seamstress, it's kind of raked across her chest. With the dwarf, it some of his face is gone and the cracks are developing from his face area, and from the child, there's 2 or 3 on his side that have kind of spread out.
Okay.
And as soon as which one do you want to do it on? I should ask first.
Probably the dwarf.
Okay, so you walk over to the dwarf. You said like a hand. You want to kind of reach out and prod the hand.
Well, I'll maybe draw a dagger, prod the hand with the dagger, and see what happens.
Okay, so you kind of lift the finger up, and as soon as you put any pressure on it, the finger just snaps off.
Okay. Is it snap like a twig, or is it just more like a like dust?
No, not dusty. Like a twig. You're right. Like if you would take ceramic and crack it off, except it takes a lot less effort to break.
Okay.
Charming.
And I don't... Well, I guess
so as you're...
You said, so I got no sense of anything wrong in here.
Right. Do you still have the orb out?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been carrying that in my right hand. Well, no, I've been carrying that in my left hand and then using my right hand to sort of test things.
The whispers the whispers have started in the edges of your perception.
At this point, I'll put the orb away then.
Okay. Yeah, and almost as quickly as they start, they stop.
Okay.
It's still eerie to hear anything in this landscape.
Okay.
We're going to bounce to Erin. You said you wanted to do something?
Yeah, I want to go north to the garden-y area up there.
Okay. Deanna, what would you like to do?
I'm probably gonna chill and talk to Malcolm, but do me last because I'm trying to finish up some work. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Mark, what would you like to do?
This is actually an odd situation for Malcolm because there's nothing. He knows the most about the ashfall of the four of them, and he's already been in a situation where he's probably got more knowledge than he can glean from this place.
Okay.
So, unless one of them sees something that he's, basically he knows, he feels they're going to get about as much from the ashfall as they can, or about as much about the ashfall from here as they would at Stromness. However, he can't stand just standing, so he's essentially going to I'll tell you what, he's going to make his way to the temple.
Which one?
And Temple Row, and he's going to start walking through the temples and seeing, it's a long shot, but seeing if there's anything that hasn't been affected by the ash.
Okay. All right. So we'll work with Erin first. We'll go from there. You said you want to head up to the garden area?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested in kind of looking at the different, basically plant life and seeing if it's any different than the building that collapsed like it did.
Yep. So you kind of, it's like one of those picket fences. Not picket fences, my apologies. The broad wooden slat fences.
Yeah.
That just kind of has the two horizontal that go to a post.
Yeah.
You walk right up to it. Do you kind of poke it with your finger, poke it with a knife?
I have my dagger out and ready and poke it.
All right, so you poke it, and it does the exact same thing, kind of collapses in on itself. Actually, you poke the top one, it collapses, hits the second one, that collapses, and then it falls into a kind of a small mound.
Dominoes. Okay, I'm gonna walk into the garden itself, and I'm just kind of looking to see if organic, living stuff has reacted differently to this than the building did, because the building and these slats just kind of went.
Okay. How would you like to do
that? Is there anything? So everything right now just kind of looks like it's been, I don't know, petrified or something like that. It's just gray and that's it.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a breeze going on right now around the area, or is it just dead?
It's just dead.
Okay. Are there any very large plants in this, or is it all flower beds?
You can kind of see carrots and stuff like that. Things poking out of the ground. You do see like tomato plants, a couple different staple food crops, small. But it's mostly, it doesn't seem like it's a huge like food garden. It's almost like a pet project of somebody's. Like they're all neatly arranged. You're not really sure what the purpose of it was. It looks nice. Several of the main beds in the middle here are flower beds. Somebody's taken some meticulous time to get them all neat and in a row. It's very weird to see, like, one of them has completely fallen in on itself. Or at least the piles of ash, like there's no representation of what used to be a flower in it, but the pot right next to it only has like one or two small tufts in the rows.
Okay. The tomato plant, I'm going to poke that with my dagger and see what happens.
It's the exact same thing as everything else. Kind of collapses.
It just crumbles?
Yep, just crumbles to dust.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go over to where the carrots are and use my knife to kind of dig into the ground.
Okay.
Because I want to see if this spreads down as well as out.
Okay. So you start getting to digging. You cut out a circle around it and start kind of going inward. You notice that the earth itself is not super effective. It's the same consistency as dirt. It's just a little grayer. It definitely has not adapted the ashy quality that the rest of everything else has. However, as soon as you get to where the carrot kind of has grown into the dirt, it just kind of puffs into ash and fills in the areas where you've already dug out.
Okay. Alright. Is there anything else around here? Or, like, any bodies? Or is it just gone? Plants? That's it?
Yep, just plants.
Alright, I'm gonna head back to where everyone else is.
Okay. Mark, you said you wanted to head over
Yes.
to the temple. Okay, which one are you looking at?
I actually changed my mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna make my way down here
Making your way down
to the one place that hasn't been touched by the ash.
Okay. There's a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, if you notice in the corners, there's, kind of a cutoff.
There's that big building over there to the
Yeah,
left.
I see that now.
Are those guard towers in the corners? The top?
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of watchtowers, yeah.
Then yeah, I'll make my way that way.
So you want to go down to here? Okay.
Yes, please. And I assume, because Deanna said that Estella would be talking to Malcolm, I assume that he'd be answering any questions
Sure.
Yeah.
as he walks.
Okay. Would you like to walk with him?
Yeah, I am going to walk with him.
Sparrow, would you like to join them? Since you've kind of come back.
Nah. I'm
I
good.
have a quick question. Do I ideally know what happened to his family?
I'm sorry, does who?
Do I, in character, know what happened to his family?
That would be Mark, does she?
That depends. I don't know how. I've wanted to figure out how you would handle that. I assume it would be as much as, like, how well known is he in Stromness is the question.
Pretty. I mean, it's like any other advisor type. Either people know him or they don't. It's like the president.
It's basically Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was actually just going to go with that
Except less
comparison.
evil.
Like, other people in the surrounding areas might not know who the vice president is. Like if you ask Sweden, somebody from Sweden, like, who's the vice president of the United States? It would just be like us asking of a House of Parliament member in England.
Yeah.
You know.
So in Stromness, people would probably know him and know the story behind, because it's not a secret what happened to him. Most people have most likely talked about it. He lost his family in the Ashfall, and he kept working to take down the shadows and to help with the Ashfall, and that's how he got his position. So
Right.
she would, if she knows who he is, then yes, probably. She probably also. Did we decide if people know that he's blighted or if it's just a rumor?
That's up to you.
There is a rumor that he is blighted.
Oh.
But-
Samael, would you like to join them as they walk by?
If I notice them passing me as they walk towards the corner, I'd follow them.
Okay, so Mark, Deanna, Samael.
Okay, well, I guess while we're walking, did you move my character? Good. Okay, cool. Can I do a perception check just to see how he's looking and my interpretation of that?
You can make an insight check for me.
Oh, an insight check. What is my insight check? Let me
Can
pull
I-
up my
Because I only examined those 3 bodies, right?
Right.
Can I do a perception check as we walk to see if I notice any other bodies?
No, you wouldn't need to. You notice a few others. They all look just like it.
So it's all the same thing. There's one point of origin where those cracks appear.
Exactly. It looks like somebody took a long, flat but blunt object, like just a thin rod, and just took it in 3 stripes to the wherever it was hit. If that makes sense. Like a piece of clay as it's drying, you just kind of quick, and as it fractures, that's what it looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kinda. I would ask Malcolm about it then and say, what do you know about this? Like, what is your research shown?
About the Ashfall?
No, about this particular effect on the corpses that I've noticed? Like, why is it that every single one of these corpses shows these attributes?
When you talk about the corpses themselves, and we're talking about the corpses that became shadows and fell, right, Sarge?
Yeah.
Then when you talk about that, you'll notice he kind of hardens up a bit and says, we don't know too much about it, or at least I don't. As far as we know, there are two different ways that ash can affect you. When the ashfall hits, if it hits you directly, we don't know if it kills you immediately and then reanimates your body, or if it takes control of your body. But that's what happens when that happens.
From what I assume I'd already been told a little bit about like what happens with the ashfall and stuff before we got here, like during the travels.
Oh yeah, a little
Is
bit.
that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from what we have been told, the bodies themselves don't actually reanimate. It's just a shadow representation of the bodies.
Now,
that move.
nobody knows that yet.
Okay.
I'll put that out on meta, not because I want to correct you. I just want to make sure, like, public knowledge is just that there are bodies, there are people, they look like they've cracked, and people have died. At this point,
Okay.
nobody knows that there are shadow creatures except for those who are blighted. And as kind of a surrounding area event. And when they come in, there's a lot of shadow
already
creatures.
fought him? Okay. Oh, okay. So they don't know that the shadow creatures come from the corpses.
At the moment, no.
Okay.
Okay.
And like they can't actually. I
Well,
think you already said this before, but the shadow creatures don't actually look enough like the people that you could identify them as the people.
Yeah, they're just silhouettes.
Okay.
so Sarge,
Yes, sir.
that's a little bit different than what we had talked about when we had
Okay.
first talked about my character. Just because the original idea was that he entered the house and essentially saw the shadow of his wife and child.
Right. Yeah, it's still taking that into account. The shadows are
Okay.
different enough from the bodies. Again, it's just an outline. That's all it is.
Okay.
So
Okay, so he
would
didn't necessarily know he was killing his wife and children.
Yeah, you would just know that they're dead, and most likely
Yeah.
those shadows killed them, or in some whatever, whatever way you can piece that together that would make sense to Malcolm.
Okay.
Okay, so long story short, we don't really know why the cracks are like that.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Deanna, still have more questions?
My insight check, or yeah.
What specifically you're looking for? My apologies. With your 11.
I'm just kind of looking at his like body motion. I'm trying to analyze that, because like I guess for me, if I'm a people person and that's my whole business is dealing with people, I should be able to pick up something.
Okay.
If not, yeah.
Malcolm, can you explain what she would see?
With an 11.
With a moderate success.
He looks cold and closed off, more so since they entered the area than on the ride there, so to speak. So whatever this is, being around this puts him at a definite sense of unease.
Okay.
As we get to the border of like where the ashfall happened, I want to examine the differences between, especially organic material that like let's say like you can see almost trees in that lower right corner,
Right.
and like part of the trees inside the border and part of the trees outside of it. Like I would want to examine that tree and see what happens.
Okay.
See like what's the difference between where the border was and where the border wasn't.
Okay. Well, you walk up to it. So you walk up to it, and you kind of look at it, and it seems like the whole tree itself has been affected. Even the part that is kind of like crossed over into the ground.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
It's ashy. If you touch it, it's probably going to collapse the entirety of it. It's not like it's cut in half. You know,
It's just the entirety of all that organic material is just ashy.
correct.
Yeah. But is there still like a hard cutoff around that area?
Yeah, through the tree.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, there's almost like a line in the dirt itself where it kind of
Yeah.
starts to taper off and get less gray. It's not like a hard line where it's just gray-green. Like, it kind of tapers off
Okay.
and gains color as it goes outward from the circle.
Are there any buildings that are partly in, partly out?
There are a few that are partly in, partly out. Excuse
Is
me.
it the same thing for those?
Yes, it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
It looks like to you, if it's been touched by the circle, then
At all?
everything
Okay.
that is, I would venture to say, a complete object was affected. So like parts of houses were affected, but like a chair on the opposite side of the house away from the line wouldn't be affected. It just
So
kind of falls to the
non-fixed,
floor.
non-fixed objects probably weren't affected.
Right, exactly. It doesn't like hit the house and then spread into everything inside of the house, but
Yeah.
the house itself would be ash if it's touched because it's considered
Okay.
it's like a complete object.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any more questions for each other?
No. Not
Okay.
for
Do
me.
we know about people who've been infected, right?
Yeah, you know rumors, unless you've encountered them directly, and even then, it's still it's like lepers, almost. You know, it's considered an almost leprous type of
Kind
thing.
of shun them.
Yeah, people generally shun them, even if it's
Shun
been.
the non-believers.
Shun.
Then I asked Malcolm about that. I would say, Malcolm, what can you tell me about those who have been infected after an ashfall? What
Blighted.
happens?
Blighted would be the
Blighted.
proper term. Yep.
Yeah.
And he would say, you know, as mentioned before, blighting is caused by inhaling the ash in any way, which is why we're wearing these. And he like taps on the, and then he taps on
his
the mask.
nose.
Says,
This giant nose.
Nose.
what actually happens scientifically isn't really known. Physically, basically blackness, I believe it starts at your heart and moves outwards. Your veins start turning black, and we don't know why, but once it reaches your eyes, it's said that you'll die within a week or so, Sarge?
Yeah, roundabouts.
So we've not run into anybody who has died before it reaches the eyes, so it's almost like an internal timer. Personally, I think it might have something to do with the blight reaching the brain, one way or another, and he just kind of like shrugs. But
Sorry, go ahead.
but he definitely, the way he talks about it, he talks like somebody who is stepping back away from something to discuss it, if that makes sense.
Do I notice that he's doing this?
And make me an insight check.
Which
Okay,
you have, I believe you have proficiency on.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
do.
Give me a sec.
All the insight proficiencies, all the time.
I can just click on that die, right? That's what we said before.
Just realized
Yeah.
it's getting super dark in my room.
You need to turn on a light.
I just did.
Cool. I'm almost done with my,
Take your
work.
time.
Now he's seen the light.
Oh, are we gonna do, can we do a lantern ceremony in this world?
Yeah. I mean, if that's
my
something
God.
that one of your customs would allow, absolutely. Holy
Ooh.
crap.
Oh shit.
That's not even like crit either. It's close to
Yeah.
crit. You're one
yeah,
off.
As one off, yeah.
And that's not even counting proficiency, is it?
No, that does. That counts
Yeah,
for
it does count
proficiency.
proficiency. Yep. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. You realize he's very much stepping back from the conversation. He's talking about it very dispassionately, very factually. Although it's obvious, I mean, you would most likely know the rumor even by stepping in that he was involved with this somehow. So the fact that he's severely dispassionate about it indicates that he has quite a few feelings that he's not sharing.
Okay.
While I'm at the crater,
Mhm.
since there's nothing that really is growing in like around the crater,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna kneel down and start digging. Not inside the crater, but outside the crater. I'm gonna kneel down and start digging with my dagger, just to kind of check something out here real quick.
Okay.
That's when she notices a crossbow rise from the ash.
Oh God.
We're not going with the Terminator 2 ending, okay?
That's when she shanks a bitch in real life because
Yeah,
he doesn't
right.
know how to stop.
Oh God, Shank! Oh fuck! Oh God, he was alive! Well, he's not anymore, Sparrow. Good job.
Yay!
No, so you basically kind of start digging through it. There is a lot of ash that makes up the crater lip. But
Yeah.
you do manage to hit dirt underneath it. It's almost like something collapsed in on top of it. But
Okay.
if you look into the crater itself, there's a lot of earth.
Okay. Does it look like... Does it appear that the ash is spreading downwards, or does it seem like it's just kind of sitting on top of it?
No. It looks like it's sitting on top of it.
Okay.
Like something collapsed.
Okay.